At about 1650 in the area of the Ma River, the section flowing through the territory of Anchung Commune, Hoang Tam District, Hoang Hoa District, Thanh Hoa Province, some people accidentally discovered a bag of money floating in the river was a male corpse. Immediately after receiving the news, Thanh Hoa Provincial Police Directorate Board of Criminal Police Department Criminal Technical Department scene. Corpses in sacks are in a stage of strong decomposition and stink. Immediately the post-mortem autopsy was conducted. Initial results identified that the victim was 1m60 tall, wearing a black blazer with long pants and had died 8 to 10 days ago. The victim's hands, head, and face were covered with duct tape. The search worked. Fingerprint cannot be performed. The victim's identity is a mystery. The fact that the victim was wrapped with adhesive on the same face and head, we assessed that the victim had suffocated to death before being thrown into the water. However, there is a difficulty in determining the cause of death, which is that the internal organs of the victim were decomposed. The scene of the incident. The case was expanded along the banks of the Ma River. It can be said that it has been nearly 20 years in the province of Thanh Hoa that a serious case has occurred, with the trick of killing people and hiding their bodies. Such person. That's why the Special Project Committee was established and mobilized many forces to participate in solving the case. The Project Committee and the tasked working group made every effort to search for clues around the crime scene to serve the crime investigation work. The post-mortem examination was carried out, carefully performed to find out the cause of the victim's death. The autopsy results revealed a very important detail. The victim had a skull incision in the area. The right Tai Duong and the Criminal Technical Force assessed that it was nearly a year ago for us to focus on hospitals in Thanh Hoa Province and focus on hospitals that can be ability to operate on that wound. The investigation agency determined that there are only 3 hospitals in Thanh Hoa Province that are capable of performing this type of surgery. That is the General Hospital, Thanh Hoa Provincial Department of Hop Luke General Hospital and Ngoc Lac District General Hospital. Investigators have worked with these hospitals, but this activity has not yet yielded specific results. Here is a case N, but starting from zero. From the beginning we have not identified the victim, do not know the nature of the crime, and the object is more obscure, but in order to build a plan, we must first find out the victim's whereabouts. This is the first key issue. The special committee also immediately decided to trace the victim's identity, external characteristics, such as the clothes, watches, flowers, hands, shoes that the victim carried, was fully described in the notice sent to the localities. The next day, there was a family in Thach Thanh District reported this incident, and the family had a child missing on May 25th. The characteristics provided by the family and as well as the assessment of identification of the body are identifiable. It is likely that the victim is Mr. Pham Duc Chung and was born in 2000 and resides in Thach Thanh District. When conducting the necessary assessments, the special team determined that the victim was discovered in a sack floating on the Ma River. Is Mr. Pham Duc Chung from Thanh Tan Commune, Thach Thanh District, Thanh Hoa Province. Before being murdered, Mr. Chung was a Korean student at a Korean language center based in Thanh Hoa City. 2. During the process of working with the victim's family, investigators were provided with a lot of particularly important information regarding the disappearance of Mr. Pham Duc Chung, since he left home on the afternoon of May 25th. The process of inviting work with the victim's family, The victim's family provided the information on May 25, 2022, the Facebook nick of the victim. He texted his family to inform him that the victim currently owes an amount of 100 million and is being arrested by Social Objects. The request is that the victim's family must transfer money into accounts that the subjects sent back to their families. Only then did they release the victim home, and they also gave information that the victim had escaped to Tai Nguyen, Hanoi, but was still captured by them and is currently being arrested by them. Catch, the two of us talk a lot, so I got the difference. When I sent a message, I also said a few sentences to confirm that it was not my nephew, and also through the text message, I also accepted that it was not. Must be you, asked for money, shot my account number, also asked me to transfer the money to pay the person. In addition to the messages, Chung's family also received a recording with a ransom of 100 million. It's here, I haven't done anything to it. You send money to that account, my brother gave it back. Voice. The recording was identified as the voice of a young man but deliberately imitated the voice of an elderly adult saying what to do. From the information provided by the victim's family to the public. With technical analysis, the expert committee made the assumption that the Fakon Chung sent messages to his family and blackmailed the family in connection with Mr. Chung's death. There must be some familiarity between the victim and the subject. The death of the victim is related to a loan debt. In the check phone, Han Chung had an event. Borrow money through the application. There are many messages offering loans, and there is also a message reminding that the payment is due. Held many meetings and also proposed investigation solutions, which focused heavily on the problem of black credit and loans, because this was related to killing the debtor, because he refused to pay. We also have a strong focus on lending interest, that is, a black credit too is an application loan. Therefore, there are also many working groups who have traveled to many places outside Thanh Hoa province to Hanoi and other provinces including Saigon, to focus on acting as a focal point. Besides, the relationship of the victim was also focused on clarifying by the investigative agency. The scouts conducted verification in Thach Ton district, the victim's hometown, in Hoang Kak commune, Hoang Hoa district, the victim's grandmother's house. It is also the place where the victim lived before he died. Reviewing at the previous boarding house the victim had rented in at Huyen Deep Korean Language Center, where the victim was studying at the center. In Korean, Huyen Deep On Chung is considered a gentle person with no conflicts with anyone. However, during the verification process here, the investigating agency found that a few doubts flashed, focusing on two friends who used to spend time renting with him. The most prominent question is that two friends are currently using phone SIM cards that Mr. Chung used to use before. The investigation revealed that these subjects were crooked, did not clearly state their relationships with the general brother, and these two subjects had hidden points that were not revealed and proven at the time on the 25th. Where did the subject go in May, and was it related to the murder of Mr. Chung? The investigating agency immediately went into depth to verify and clarify the travel schedule. The activities of these two young people, especially on the 25th and 26th of May. The testimonies of many witnesses confirmed that during this time the twins did not meet Chung. About the phone, why have his SIM card? Chung is clarified. Before that, the person borrowed the phone of one of these two people to insert his SIM. When returning the phone, Mr. Chung did not remove the phone. With many documents, the collected evidence proved weak. The alibi of the two victims' friends. The ray of hope about finding the culprit of the case has just flashed out. Who is the killer who killed An Chung at this time is still a question mark. Crane based on the documents the victim brought, including his mobile phone, laptop, and motorcycle air blade, the investigating agency made a public announcement about the search for lost property and the search for lost property. Finding witnesses of the case. On June 2, 2012, 2 female witnesses came to the police station to report about the night of May 25 while traveling on the road near the bridge. Huang Long when they saw a man riding a motorbike carrying a sharp sack shaped like a human corpse. Curious about the abnormality, the 2 girls followed. I saw that around 10:10 a.m. I went from Nam Nan. When we went near Ham Rong Bridge, we saw a person walking behind, carrying a bag like a horizontal person on the car. We still went normally. See, it's the same. Didn't think much but still followed people. Just went to the bridge and saw that car stopped at the dark side, threw the bag down and ran away. Verify if your words are true, witnesses. Fortunately there are 2 people. We check again, see if it is correct or not. Check whether the information is correct. By what? By checking the camera to see if the event is true and not. The second thing is to see the exact date and time. Do these 2 girls talk to each other or exchange messages? We have to double check that it is the right time and place. Based on the information I verified, judging the witnesses' statements to be correct, we began to deploy forces to follow the track. Following the path the subject had taken, the information and witnesses provided can be said to have created a major turning point in the investigation process. From that testimony and images collected from cameras on both sides of the road, the scene where the body was thrown, determined to be at Ham Rong Bridge area. The subject's subsequent movement direction is from Ham Rong Bridge towards Quang Ton Commune, Ton Hoa City. The identity of the subject is a male about 25 years old with a crab head cut wearing a sports shirt. Here is a source. It is important that the investigation agency determines that the crime scene may be in Ton Hoa and determines that the subject must also be located in the area of Ton Hoa City. At that time, the scouts discovered that the victim's motorbike had been sold in Quang Suong and the victim's phone and laptop had also been sold through the hands of 2 people in the city. Through the notification from the province about the evidence related to the case, we quickly tracked down the phone. One person, a citizen, reported that he bought it after reading it. The information that related to the characteristics of the phone, this citizen bought and found it suitable for the phone that the victim bought. He quickly went to report it to the police and then from the Hague. Since the report has clarified the phone characteristics, it matches the characteristics of the victim's phone, we have conducted a search for the victim's phone. Where did this man buy the phone to keep the object that sold the phone? So up to this point, the most difficult knots in the case are gradually being removed. Synchronous application of professional measures to the investigation agency identify the person who sold the victim's phone and also texted Chung's family named Li Van Huang, born in 2004 and residing in Quang Ton Ward, Ton Hoa Street, Ton Hoa Province, is an employee of a Vietnamese Russian gas station. At noon on June 3, 2022, it was determined that Li Van Huang was at work. All scouts were detected. The assignment of tasks carried out to control the arrest of the subject. An urgent search warrant at Huang's home and workplace was executed. The investigation agency seized many assets such as a paper wallet. Confirmed that the injection was written in 19 with the name of the victim Pham Duc Jun. Before the evidence that the investigating agency had collected, Li Van Huang was indisputable. he was forced to confess all of his actions and relationships. And relationship with the victim. These two people have a relationship with each other. I just found out on social networks, by a very accident and one time by chance, that Mr. Chung was the victim. On the way, he would run out of gas. Then he met Huang, thanks to pushing the car to the gas station to fill it. Then the two exchanged phone numbers. And by the relationship, they also text each other, in which Chung borrows money. Chung has a need to borrow money. Huang has no money but also needs to borrow money to get interest. According to Huang's testimony, Huang gave Chung a loan of 5 million VND, but within half a month, he had to make daily installments for the loan amount of 5 million VND. After getting the loan, Chung blocked all contact with the panic, did not pay like this agreement, due to anger and thought I was cheated. On May 23, Huang Lap, a female Facebook nicknamed Nguyen Thao, made friends on Facebook with Chung to flirt with love. Afternoon on May 25, 2022, Huang used Facebook. This is a text message to lure Chung to come pick him up at the address in Quang Ton Ward. This is Huang's house. When they arrived at the meeting point and kept the car in, Huang locked the door and then used a kettle. Repeatedly hit Chung's head, until he couldn't breathe anymore, thinking that Chung was dead. Huang used duct tape to wrap his hands, head, and face, then put it in a sack and hide Chung's body under the bed. Huang took all the property. Chung's family included a Samsung phone, a laptop, and an Airblade motorbike. Huang texted an employee at a shop in Min Chai Commune, Quang T Ward, to sell the phone for 2.7 million dong. Huang used the victim's Facebook account, which was logged in on the computer, pretending to be Chung, texting and asking for money from his mother on May 25 and 26, when he was arrested. Discovered that the impersonator Huang turned to threaten the Chung family. If he doesn't transfer the money, he will kill Chung. The victim's motorbike and laptop he brought to hide at the gas station to find a way to consume, and then Huang sold the motorbike for 1 million VND and laptop sold for 1.5 million dong. All money sold Huang spent personally. The subject of the crime, Li Van Huang, was born in 2004 and has a lot of tricks to deal with. The law enforcement agency even tricked the victim to come one way or another. This subject has no criminal record, according to the assessment of local authorities and people there. Huang is also a good person. It's okay, waiting in the position of Deputy Secretary of the Village Youth Union, who are also excellent young citizens. So it is outside the management and monitoring of the local police agency in all levels. The death was accidentally discovered by the people on the Ma River, and eventually searched for clues to the perpetrator in the case, who repeatedly harassed the victim to blackmail the family, had many tricks to deal with the police. Finally revealed.